Hi, everyone. Carlo Rapanut. I serve in the Alaska Conference, although I am a member of the Pacific Northwest Conference, and I'm eligible to serve 5.5 quadrant.
How has your previous experience with managing staff and budget prepared you for the role of bishop?
First of all, I want to thank you all for your time tonight, for taking time out of your busy Sunday nights, or at least not busy Sunday nights, to listen to what we all have to say tonight. Might be the non-busiest time of your week. I want to draw to answer this question. I want to draw on my experiences as conference superintendent for Alaska, and also right now as assistant to the bishop in the Greater Northwest area. So, as conference superintendent in Alaska, um, I managed a small staff, but mostly volunteers, and so the management of human resources was more done in a collaborative and team um, um, perspective or environment where I, as superintendent, was not a supervisor, but was part of a team, and so if you would look at my resume, part of what I added in as additional information was in my background. I worked as a director of plays of theater productions, and I see that as my leadership in managing staff is the director does not come on stage. The director is behind the scenes, and your role as director is to bring out the best in every player, in every actor or actress in on the stage. And so that has been my ethos, my spirit in managing staff is in really trying to bring out the best in people. One of the financial issues that we had to deal with in Alaska during my time as superintendent is the seeming untethering that the General Board of Global Ministries has done to missionary conferences. And so we had to be creative about how we would apply for grants. And the question that we had to wrestle with was really how do we function more as a nonprofit and less like a conference, so that we're able to maximize more of our resources. And so it took creativity. It took, as Anthony said, leaning on the experts in the room, the people who live and breathe money in order for us to get this through. In the Greater Northwest area, in terms of staffing and managing staff, because of my role, I was part of the hiring, the writing and rewriting of job descriptions, so that it was the job descriptions were continued to be aligned with the vision and mission of where the area was headed. And so in several staff transitions, I was part of a team to help kind of draft those job descriptions, and been in negotiation rooms with potential candidates, or with staff who were there already in the positions, who had their job descriptions kind of shifting, to have those conversations. Again, a team approach of, does this best match your skills, and does this best bring us to where we want to go as an area. And so what else? In terms of teams, oh yeah, I see Dan's hand up, so I think I'll end there with my response, and want to thank you all for listening.
What does collaboration in a multicultural context look like? And please give examples.
Thank you, Wendy. Let me start by just thanking all of you for taking time out of your weekend. This might be your non-busiest day of the week, and so I want to thank you for spending time with us today, with every one of us. When I think of collaboration in a multicultural context, I think about leading from a circle. I spoke of this in my profile a little bit. My culture teaches me lead from a circle where hierarchies are broken down and everybody has an equal connection to the center, if you may. The example that I would lift up to tangible experiences from my own recent ministry. One is in working with the Greater Northwest Area Cabinet. It's a diverse group of 19 or 20 people, and it's not just diverse culturally in terms of not just diverse in terms of cultures, but diverse in terms of um, gender and backgrounds. And so when when we talk about collaboration and multicultural setting, it means being willing to learn from each other's cultures, and and beyond learning, it's also respecting, and it's respect beyond just the niceties or the politeness that comes with being in the same room together to meet. And so it's also being able to wrestle with the hard realities of our differences in culture. It's being able to name backgrounds or historical abuse that might be feeding the differences that we might have, and that might be playing into the 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 rub, the differences between us, and being able to call out each other in love. It also means being willing to learn together on how we might work together as a group and collaborate. In the Greater Northwest Area Cabinet, we have intentionally taken it upon ourselves to learn, and it's interesting. Christina Gonzalez is here as part of this breakout group, and we have been on a journey of learning intercultural competency over, I'd say, more than 2 years now, and it has brought us to I mean, we're not there yet, and every time we struggle, but we have been able to learn how to struggle together with our differences in love. We have been able to learn how to call out each other's bias in love, and be able to come out of that with a better working relationship. I also have reflect on my time as superintendent in the Alaska conference, where again it's a diverse group of clergy and laity, and just talking about the clergy group, we have Alaska natives, we have white people, of course, we have Filipino immigrants, we have Samoans and Koreans and Tongans. And so when we talk about collaboration and multicultural context and even leadership, we also have to think about how to give voice to those who don't have voice in those settings. And so I see Wendy's hand up. I think that means I'm almost to time. Thank you.
Name specific instances where a bishop's authority is limited by the Book of Discipline, and where the authority rests in those instances. You have 15 seconds to think. Timer starting now.
I want to start out by thanking all of you for taking time out of your weekends to be with us, your siblings who are discerning. And so I'm going to take this question and approach it from two different angles. So a specific instance where a bishop's authority is limited by the Book of Discipline, I would say guaranteed appointments. I have been in cabinets. I have been in the Greater Northwest Area Cabinet for 8 years now, and I have witnessed how we use the term or the phrase, we owe this person an appointment. So at the end of a season, a difficult season of appointments, when we're looking at a number of churches that are open, and then a number of clergy whom we owe appointments, and we need to to fit square pegs into round holes, I think is the metaphor that y'all use. Now, I don't say this to demean my clergy colleagues. I say this in a way that the discipline limits the bishop and cabinet from being able to be in conversation in this regard, being in conversation with a clergy person or with a person whose gifts may not be specific for local church ministry, or whose gifts may not be suited for ministry at all. And so we have been forced to put we have been put in situations where we are forced to make an appointment work, instead of trying to be in a collaborative mode with clergy. And so that's where that's one angle that I would approach these questions, where the bishop's authority to appoint is limited by guaranteed appointments. The other angle that I would approach this is really, it's not so much a specific instance or a specific paragraph in the Book of Discipline, but it's um, I think the interpretation of the bishop's role of guarding the discipline and the order and ordering the life of an annual conference or of the church, and so all of those, the interpretation, the limited interpretation of those paragraphs, those roles of a bishop, so that the focal point of decision making is constricted to just the bishop. So every decision has to be, well, what does the bishop say? What does the bishop say in this regard? Instead of decentralizing that and seeing how these different facets of the bishop's role might be shared with a group of a team of leaders surrounding the bishop. And so I see the interpretation of the bishop's role, the limited interpretation of the bishop's role as limiting to the authority of the bishop. So that's, I see Paul's hand. That's how I would respond to that question. Thank you.
I've just pasted the question in there. What are the top 3 most pressing issues facing the church?
All right. First of all, thank you, friends, for taking time out of your busy, your maybe quiet weekends to be here and to spend time with us who are discerning. I think the top 3, in no particular order. First of all, we're coming out of the pandemic, and so the church. What does it mean to be in ministry with communities, with people post pandemic is an issue that we are trying to deal with and wrestle with as a church right now. What does it mean to not just put on online worship, but what does that mean in terms long term, in terms of engagement with people who might choose to just remain online, and I shouldn't say just, who would choose to remain online and yet be connected in that way. And so, how do we continue that connection and that commitment to be in community with folks? So COVID is one. Second is I think our continuing desire for an inclusive church, and so that is another priority, if you may, for us is that we need to be we as a United Methodist Church need to make up our minds and really move in a way that makes us puts our actions, our bodies where our mouth is in terms of inclusion. And so that is the second pressing issue with our church today. And then Thirdly, which has a little bit of I think intersectionality, is the continuing struggle with systemic racism. Um, the fact of that our system, our United Methodist system, was brought up in a racist and colonial way, and people of color, like the three of us candidates who are joining you today, are expected to think and act white in order to in order to be in these spaces. Shouldn't be the norm, and so the continuing struggle to dismantle systemic racism in our church today is another. The broad blanket that would cover those top three pressing issues for me, though, is that the church needs to recover its relevance in the world and in society, and that we would be able to really live the gospel of Jesus Christ in a way that makes sense to the people of today, and I think that is the overarching kind of pressing issue behind these three that I have named. I think I'll stop there.